I was watching the best Studio Ghibli film of all time, Princess Mononoke, when I decided to ask Aria from OperaGX, today's sponsor, what the best Studio Ghibli food of all time is. That would be Calcifer's breakfast from Howl's Moving Castle. Feeling betrayed by Aria's choice, I had to put their recommendation to the test. For those of you who don't know, Aria is a new AI made for OperaGX. Think of it as your personal assistant that is always at your side to ask questions, help you with your day, or even help you make plans for your new anime adventures. I asked Aria what cosplay I should make for Anime Expo, and it gave me a ton of new ideas. Not only did Aria recommend this recipe, but they actually wrote an entire recipe for me to try. And this is where we get to have quite a bit of fun. Since every Studio Ghibli movie feels like an adventure, I'm going on my own using OperaGX's new AI, Aria. I'll be recreating Calcifer's breakfast according to their directions, but I will also be cooking this completely outdoors. So I made my way downtown, walking fast, and I'm bread bound over to Bee's Bakery in Canby. They make some incredibly delicious homemade bread, as well as a few other amazing pastries, like this sticky bun that Rachel can't seem to get enough of. Literally, she just lingered on this shot for about 5 minutes because she really wanted one. And while Bee's has a pretty extensive bread menu, I only needed one thing, and that one thing is simple.
Can I do a sourdough loaf, please?
Definitely. Do you want us to slice that for you?
No, just the whole loaf. Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
Now with my bread loaf secured, it's time to make our way to the farmer's market in hopes that I can find bacon, eggs, sausage, according to Aria, which is not part of the traditional recipe, and a few other goodies.
We got the bread. Now we need eggs and bacon, and there's a farmer's market right up here. I hope we can find some of that stuff, because it's gonna be super fresh.
Now I love farmers markets for a few reasons. One of them being that you're going to be supporting local farmers and markets. The second reason is because you're going to find stuff like this.
I think they have the vegan pastries.
I've only walked about 30 steps into the farmers market and it's already happening.
I've already gotten distracted, so we're gonna get a lemon curd Danish, and I'm just gonna eat this and be happy about it. Do you have any of the lemon curd Danishes? Is that what that is?
So the lemon curd goes over the cheesecake normally.
Oh, that's gonna be a lot of cheesecake. Okay, lemon curd is over the cheesecake. Do you want a Danish?
But, I mean, I could put lemon curd over.
Could
the
you?
Danish, yeah.
That would be awesome. Can we do a blueberry Danish with like some lemon? That sounds amazing.
This, my friends, is what you call true hospitality. I really wanted lemon curd on a blueberry Danish and she was super accommodating and made it happen.
Lemon curd in a squeeze bottle, that's dangerous.
Look at this thing. It looks amazing. I'm sure they would have happily eaten this in a Ghibli movie.
It also doesn't quite fit in that.
That's okay. We'll just eat around the outside and call it a day. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.
Now it's time to secure the bacon, eggs, and sausage, but first,
we have to take a bite to fit it into the container. Proper rub.
Rachel helped me out by taking a couple of bites of our new beautiful blueberry Danish with lemon curd, so this way we can actually fit it into the container.
Now we can fit it. Yeah.
Realistically, that was just an excuse to eat the Danish now rather than later. After Rachel was distracted by some cotton candy, we started walking down further into the farmer's market when we came across this. She sounds great, but that's not where we're going to find our bacon and eggs. So we made our way through the entire market trying to look for what we needed, and I figure I may as well ask Aria a few questions.
I also asked OperaGX's Aria a few more questions about Ghibli movies, and one of the questions I asked it was this. Are there any other foods that are famous in Ghibli movies? And me having seen all of them, the first one that I had thought of was actually Spirited Away, so I was surprised to hear that Calcifer's breakfast was the one it suggested. If you guys want to see me make an entire Ghibli feast from Spirited Away, let me know in the comments down below. I want to know what you guys want to see.
By now, we've reached the end of the market and we haven't found anyone that sold bacon or farm fresh eggs.
I don't think we're gonna find eggs and bacon here, but I do have a backup plan. We're gonna go back that way.
Luckily, it's a beautiful day and walking feels really good to find what we need.
Now I know most Studio Ghibli movies are like an adventure, so today we're kind of adventuring away from the farmer's market because they didn't have everything we needed. So there's a small place here that's a butcher that has some amazing meats. I'm gonna go there and see if they have some really great bacon that we're gonna use for this dish. Oh, and according to Aria, we have to buy sausage too, which isn't in the anime, but we're gonna make it. Hopefully they have sausage. I didn't think of that one. Just a man and his loaf of bread and a half-eaten Danish.
With Danish and bread in hand, we found our way to Ebner's Meats.
Oh, they have a bacon sign. That's good to know. There's a sign that just says bacon on it. It says bacon makes everything better. It's one of my favorite butchers.
Ebner's is awesome. I typically come here to get meats that I need for most of my training and my food videos.
Saw a sign that said bacon. Do you guys have any bacon ready to go?
Now they did have bacon. It was frozen and prepared earlier, but they do have it. But I was more interested in whatever this is.
I'm sorry, I got distracted by this. I was like, it's so nice.
If I've ever seen a piece of beef that should be for Luffy, this was it. But I can't forget what mission I'm on.
Oh, do you guys have sausage? Oh, you do have sausages.
Ebner's actually has quite a few homemade sausages. I saw this really awesome looking bacon cheddar Oktoberfest sausage, some spicy sausages, but what caught my eye was this all beef sausage filled with a bunch of spices that I'm going to talk about later because it is delicious. After taking a photo of what could only be described as Luffy's meat, we made our way out and we still have to find one more thing.
I got so much meat. I got way more than I needed. We have a ribeye, sausage, and bacon. The ribeye is for me, because it looked delicious. Now, I gotta find eggs. And I thought that was gonna be the easiest thing to find. I have one idea of where I can get farm fresh eggs.
This is my last shot to find these farm fresh eggs, so I'm taking no chances and pulling out all the stops. Now let's make this, shall we? This, my friends, is where I'm going to be making Calcifer's breakfast. I could think of nowhere else that was just as picturesque as what you would find in Howl's Moving Castle.
I'm just talking to Aria. Now I do have to make this somewhat quickly because the wind is insane and there's leaves falling into my pan. Let's make some breakfast.
Now I do have Aria up by my side, but realistically, this is a very simple recipe to make. That doesn't mean it doesn't have to be delicious. I'm using a cast iron pan that I heated up to a nice medium-high heat and then slapped in 4 slices of bacon, followed by one of those beautiful beef sausages that I really want to talk about, but I'll mention it later once I eat it. The bacon has to griddle for just a few minutes to get nice and crispy on both sides. Aria did actually specify to make the bacon crispy, and that's great because I do enjoy crispy bacon, and so does Rachel, so this works out if I can figure out how to get the bacon straight. I flipped the sausage over to make sure both sides were seared, moved it over, and continued cooking all of that grease out of the bacon. Once the bacon was nice and crispy on both sides, this is where I crack in 4 whole eggs, making sure to feed those eggshells to Calcifer. That's a very important step, and make sure you do not miss it. You don't have to put 4 whole eggs in here with all the bacon grease, but you know, I'm sharing this, so I may as well do as many as I can. Now the next part is really fun, but can also be a little dangerous if you're not careful. To give yourself some room, pull out any of that bacon just to also make sure it doesn't burn, and this is where we get to have some fun.
The sausage? Oh, sausage is connected to the egg.
That wasn't the fun part unless you're into that, but this is where we have some fun. I like to bacon baste my eggs. You can also do this with butter, but we have all that bacon fat, so we may as well use it. All I'm doing is taking some of that leftover bacon grease and continuously putting it on top of the eggs to make sure that the egg is cooked right on top. I like my eggs over easy. This just means the yolk is going to be super runny. And the next step is just to remove any excess bacon grease because we really don't need it anymore. Once all of that bacon grease is removed, this is where we cut into that beautiful sourdough loaf that we picked up from B's Bakery. I want to cut a nice chunky piece of this bread, admire the beautiful air pockets, and then place this directly into that cast iron pan to get it nice and toasty with any remaining fat. I'm garnishing it with quite a bit of butter that, yes, I admittedly brought with me.
Didn't take too long. There, my friends, is Calcifer's breakfast. Honestly, this is something I would probably eat if I had a very busy day ahead of me because there's so many calories in this one dish, but that doesn't matter today. Today, we're eating well. And then I'm gonna go back inside because my allergies are killing me. Getting attacked by a bee. Now this video wouldn't be possible without OperaGX, today's sponsor. I've been using OperaGX for a while now, and one of my favorite things about it actually has been like the mods you can add to it and customize. I love the new Cyberpunk mod that I was able to add to this because I love Cyberpunk 2077, and it just gives it a little more pizzazz, so that way you really enjoy using the browser. Another feature that I love is the pop-out media player, where you can actually pop out whatever media you're using, so this way you don't lose it as you browse through the internet. But today is all about Aria. Aria helped me come up with with this recipe, and it is basic, so I took a few liberties and did a few different things to it, but I didn't think that Calcifer's breakfast was the most popular Studio Ghibli dish. I also asked Aria a few questions. One of the other questions I asked it was, what other Studio Ghibli dishes are very popular? And they came up with Ponyo's Ramen from Ponyo, bento boxes from Kiki's Delivery Service, rice balls from Spirited Away, egg and bacon from Castles in the Sky, and onigiri from My Neighbor Totoro. And you know what just happened? They didn't mention Princess Mononoke once. Why? It's my favorite Ghibli film. So I asked it, no love for Mononoke fans? They apologized and gave me examples of Mononoke food. Aria says to go forest foraging, which I wouldn't recommend. And they also did mention that in Mononoke, there are some traditional cooking methods that they use, so take that with a grain of salt. Yes, cooking in Mononoke wasn't that significant, except for the ochazuke, which they had in the forest. That dish is very simple and very easy to make, but today is all about Calcifer's breakfast. If you guys want to check out OperaGX, today's sponsor, head out to the link down below and download it for free today. It's totally free to use. You're going to be able to use Aria as soon as you download it and ask it whatever questions you want. Thank you again to OperaGX for sponsoring today's video. Now, we gotta dive into this because I don't want it to get too cold and it's windy and my sinuses hurt. I'm gonna eat some of this bacon. This bacon is from Ebner's. This is what we just got today. Everything we have in this pan, we got today. There's some egg yolk on there, a little bit of egg on there. Cheers. Oh, it's crispy. Oh, that's so good. Nice and salty. You wanna try?
Yeah.
That's good bacon, right? One of my favorite things to do with eggs in the pan is this. Grab a little bit of this griddled bread that I griddled in the bacon fat. I'm gonna tear it, and then watch this. This is what we call the pro gamer move. You ready? Look at, oh, look at those yolks, man. Oh my God, sure. The yolks didn't come from a farm near us, or maybe it did. I don't know where Eggland is, but that looks delicious. Bacon grease, egg yolks, and bread. Cheers. The only thing you need is this all beef sausage from Ebner's. They mentioned this is their only all beef sausage. Everything else had pork or beef and pork. Cheers. Oh my God. Look at how hot. You can see there's fennel and coriander, some chilies, some spices in there. This is a fantastic sausage, and this is also why I like shopping locally. Sometimes you're gonna find stuff you can't find in the grocery store. This is so good. It's burning my hand, but it's so good. This reminds me of eating back home. We would just have all the food in the pan. There it is. Cheers. There's something very peaceful about cooking outdoors. If you have the chance to cook outside, maybe at your local park, in your backyard, whatever it is, all you need is this $30 stovetop burner that works on gas, and maybe today's sponsor, OperaGX with Aria, to hopefully give you some really fun ideas on not only anime food, but really any food. So if you want to download OperaGX, today's sponsor, check it out in the link down below. It really helps me out and you're going to enjoy yourself. My name is Chef PK, and remember, keep playing with your food.